I'm Rebecca Piper. I'm here today at the Global Manufacturing Roundtable talking to Mark Dean-Netscher, Vice President of Operations at Catalan Pharma Solutions. Mark, you gave a presentation this afternoon about successful improvement initiatives and how to sustain them. Can you give us a brief overview of what you talked about?
I think in my experience working within Catalan Pharma Solutions, we've probably focused on three key areas. I think the first one is around setting the vision and the aspirations for people across the business, so they clearly understand where the company's heading to. I think the second area we've tried to focus on is about then cascading that vision down through the organisation. So everybody from the shop floor running our production lines right the way up to the general manager of the facility, they clearly understand where they fit in terms of the company mission and the future state of the business. And the third area we always try and focus on is providing enough resources and tools to ensure sustainability through our manufacturing operations.
So from your own experience, can you give us an example of when things might go wrong and how these issues might be addressed?
Yeah, I think in my experience, I think what I've found is it's normally the improvement system and the ownership of that causes sustainable manufacturing to lose its results and I guess potentially to go off the rails. So what's normally important is the focus on people and on plant and on the process. So any business that hopes to achieve sustainable manufacturing improvement has to have the ownership and vision from the leadership, but that has to be translated right the way through the factory to the operator on the shop floor. So if you're going to talk about waste improvement, it's got to mean something specific to the person running that particular production line, maybe on a night shift or on a weekend shift, so they understand where they fit in terms of overall business results. Certainly what I've found is when that leadership message gets lost, the people running the factory on the factory production lines, they lose their purpose within the business. So therefore the results can tend to go backwards or at the least go off the rails. What I've also found is if people don't have a standard approach to work in terms of routine continuous improvement follow-up, whether that be on line efficiency, whether that be on quality, whether that be on continuous improvement ideas to make savings, when the system that you've established can lose value because the managers or the leaders don't pay attention to it on a regular enough basis, the operators or the supervisors can think that it's no longer important, and therefore they take a look back and they decide maybe this isn't valued to my manager or my supervisor, so why should it be of value to me? And therefore what I've found in my experience is that's where you lose sustainability in a manufacturing operation.
And that's all led to the adoption of a particular methodology by Catalan. Can you give us a brief description of that?
Yeah, as we work within our business, we have approximately 30 sites globally. The way we're trying to approach our business in terms of operational excellence is really to embed something called the Catalan production system, where we look through a number of building blocks, whether that be our quality system, whether that be our investment in people, or whether that be our focus on cost improvement during the year or during the next 2 or 3 years. But we try and make sure that behind each of those areas of business improvement, we put some building blocks and we invest appropriately either in the investment and training around the people so they're able to run that production system, or we invest in the tools and techniques so we can do more advanced problem solving, or we can look at things such as statistical process control, or we can look at ways of improving our wastage levels in the organisation. So we try within a Catalan production system to provide the right tools and techniques to people. But also what we try and link is that people and that process to the overall vision and values for Catalan. So it becomes a virtual circle where we're looking at safety and quality and delivery and cost, but we bring that back very much centrally to the people element, and the people element is the thing that from an objectives cascade takes us up to the vision of the company and then takes that right the way back down to the factory floor.
Okay. So is one key piece of advice that you would want to give to other managers out there who are looking to maintain these improvement initiatives, what would that be?
Yeah, I think a lot of what I spoke about at the conference today was how do you get sustainability, and sustainability for me is about making the routine routine. Unfortunately, because when you've got a production or a manufacturing system, a lot of the basics can feel a little bit mundane and sometimes maybe not as exciting as launching a new product. But certainly my learnings in the manufacturing and operations environment is you have to have standard work around your leadership, around your management and your supervisors, and therefore what you do in terms of your management approach and process is make sure that you've engaged with the hourly activity of your production operation, and either you do that personally or you have a mechanism in place for making sure that you can engage in it, and you make sure that you're therefore always asking open questions around how can we improve our business moving forward. What does that mean this month? What does that mean this week? What does that mean on this shift? And what does it mean for the hour of that supervisor or operator on the line? That mechanistic approach can be quite hard work, but actually unless you continually engage in that, you don't actually get the sustainability